You're running, always running. Not physically, of course, but mentally. Chasing something, fleeing from something, filling every second with noise because silence terrifies you. And let me tell you something that hurts. All that movement is a lie, an elaborated distraction to avoid facing the only thing that matters. Do you know the last time you truly stopped? I don't mean sitting on the couch with your phone in your hand. I mean staying completely still, with nothing to do, nothing to prove, nothing to achieve. I bet you don't even remember. And there lies the problem. You've confused doing with living, movement with progress, constant activity with purpose. You've become addicted to action, and you haven't even realized that this addiction is slowly killing you. The human mind is an extraordinary machine, but it's also a prison when you don't know how to turn it off. You generate thoughts at a frantic pace. Plans, worries, judgments, fantasies about the future, ruminations about the past. And each thought is another brick in the walls of your cell. Eckhart Tolle saw it with brutal clarity. 99% of what you think is repetitive garbage, the same mental loop playing again and again, like a scratched record you can't stop listening to. And what do you do with that? Nothing. You keep feeding the machine. You keep running in the wheel, convinced that if you stop, everything will collapse. But here's the truth no one wants to accept. When you stop, nothing collapses. What collapses is the illusion. The illusion that you need to be constantly busy, that your worth depends on how much you produce, that the world will stop spinning if you're not there pushing it. Lie. The world doesn't need your anxiety, your stress, your compulsive need to control every outcome. What it needs is for you to wake up. And waking up doesn't mean doing more, it means doing less, much less. Think about this for a moment. How many times have you solved a problem by trying harder? How many times have you forced a solution and it actually worked? Now think of the times the answer came when you stopped looking for it, when you surrendered, when you forgot about the issue entirely. That's not a coincidence. It's life showing you something your rational mind refuses to accept. Conscious inaction is more powerful than desperate action. The sages of every tradition have said it in 1,000 different ways. The Taoists called it Wu Wei, the art of not doing. Lao Tzu wrote, "Act without acting, do without effort." It sounds paradoxical, it sounds impossible, but it's exactly what you need to understand. It's not about becoming a vegetable, it's about stopping your interference with the natural flow of things. Here's the problem. You've been trained to believe that if you're not doing something, you're wasting time. Society has sold you the idea that success requires constant effort, that rest is for the weak, that every moment without productivity is a moment wasted. And you've bought that lie so deeply that you can't even sit down for a coffee without checking your email, without planning your next task, without feeling guilty for not doing something more important. That guilt is poison. It's the voice of a system that needs you anxious, exhausted, and distracted. Because when you're in that state, you're easy to control. When you're running, you don't have time to question where you're running to or why. But there's something deeper here, something that's really going to make you uncomfortable. All that frantic activity, all that constant doing, is a way to escape from yourself. Yes, you read that right. You're not busy because you have a lot to do. You're busy because you can't stand being with yourself. Silence terrifies you because in silence, everything you've been avoiding appears. The emptiness, the loneliness, the unanswered questions, the pain you've never processed. So you fill every second with noise, tasks, distractions, anything that keeps you away from that inevitable encounter. Pascal said it centuries ago. All of humanity's unhappiness stems from one thing: not knowing how to sit quietly in a room. And he was right. Most people prefer the suffering of constant movement over the peace of stillness, because stillness requires courage. It requires facing who you really are when all layers of doing, having, achieving are stripped away. Now comes the part that really hurts. Your entire identity is built on what you do. You are your job, your achievements, your relationships, your plans, your goals. And if all that is taken away, what remains? That question terrifies you, doesn't it? Because without doing, you believe you are nothing. And there lies the biggest trap of all. You've confused what you do with who you are. Your mind has convinced you that you are your thoughts, your emotions, your stories. But you're not. You never have been. You are the awareness that observes all that, the space in which those things occur, not the things themselves. When Eckhart Tolle talks about doing nothing, he's not talking about laziness. He's talking about something revolutionary, the ability to exist without needing external validation, without needing results, without needing to prove anything. He's talking about breaking the addiction to doing in order to discover the power of being. And that power is infinitely greater than you imagine, because when you stop forcing, you stop resisting. And when you stop resisting, life stops being a battle. Problems that seemed insurmountable begin to solve themselves. Opportunities you never saw appear out of nowhere. The answers you desperately searched for arrive effortlessly. It's not magic, it's mechanics. It's how the universe works when you stop getting in its way. Think of a river. When the river flows, it's not trying, it's not worrying about reaching the sea, it simply flows. And everything in its path, rocks, branches, obstacles, the river either flows around them or carries them along, but it never stops. It doesn't need a plan, it doesn't need a strategy, it just needs to flow. You are that river, but you've turned yourself into a dam. You've blocked your own flow with thoughts, worries, fears, compulsive needs to control. And now you wonder why everything is so difficult, why every step requires so much effort, why you feel like you're swimming against the current. It's because you're swimming against your own current. Here's the experiment that will change everything if you dare to do it. For 24 hours, do nothing that isn't absolutely necessary. Don't check your phone obsessively. Don't fill every silence with conversation. Don't plan the future. Don't revisit the past. Just be present. Eat when you're hungry, sleep when you're tired, move when your body asks you to, but do it without the constant mental narrative. Do it without judging yourself, without punishing yourself, without thinking about what you should be doing. Just 24 hours. Sounds simple, right? But I bet you won't last even 2 hours before anxiety devours you, because you're not used to being with yourself. You're used to running away from yourself and calling it productivity. Buddhism calls it the monkey mind, that inner voice that jumps from branch to branch endlessly, always searching, always comparing, always judging. And modern society has turned the monkey mind into an ideal. They tell you to think faster, work harder, do more things. They sell multitasking as a skill when in reality it's a curse. You cannot be at peace if your mind is in 10 places at once. You cannot be present if you're constantly worrying about what comes next. And you cannot be free if you're chained to the compulsive need to do. The great irony is that when you stop doing so much, you end up accomplishing more. Not more in quantity, but in quality, in real impact, in true change. Because when you act from stillness, from clarity, from presence, your actions have weight. You're not scattering your energy in 1,000 directions. You're focusing it on what truly matters. The ancient Stoics understood this perfectly. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Do not be carried away by impressions. Retreat into yourself." He wasn't talking about escapism. He was talking about finding the center, that place within you that remains unmoved while everything else changes. But here's what will really blow your mind. That center has always been there. You don't need to create it. You don't need to find it. You just need to stop ignoring it. Every time you get lost in thoughts about the future, you ignore it. Every time you ruminate about the past, you ignore it. Every time you fill your life with meaningless activity, you ignore it. And that center is the only real thing you have. Everything else is theater, mental construction, illusion. Your worries about the future are illusion because the future doesn't exist. Your regrets about the past are illusion because the past no longer exists. The only thing that exists is this moment, right now, and you're wasting it thinking about everything except this. Let's go deeper. Have you ever wondered who is listening to your thoughts? Think about it. There is a voice in your head that speaks constantly, and there is something that listens to that voice. Who is the one listening? That's the question that changes everything, because if you can observe your thoughts, then you are not your thoughts. If you can observe your emotions, then you are not your emotions. You are something deeper, something that remains when everything else fades. And when you touch that place, even for a second, everything changes. Anxiety loses its power because you realize it's only a thought, not a truth. Fear dissolves because you understand it's only a passing emotion, not a death sentence. The problem is that modern society is designed to keep you disconnected from that place. They bombard you with information, with stimuli, with constant distractions, because a present person is a dangerous person. A person who has touched that inner center is not easily manipulated, doesn't buy things they don't need, doesn't chase dreams that aren't theirs, doesn't live afraid of losing what they never truly had. And that's bad for business, so they keep you running, chasing, wanting, needing, always one step behind the happiness they promise but never deliver. Here's the secret no one wants you to know. You don't need anything more than what you already have in this moment to be complete. You don't need the promotion. You don't need the perfect relationship. You don't need more money, more recognition, more anything. Those things may come, they may be pleasant, but they won't complete you, because you're already complete. You always have been. You've just spent your entire life searching outside for what you can only find inside. And that search is what keeps you in constant suffering, because it's an endless search. Every time you get something, the mind is already looking for the next thing. It's never enough, it will never be enough, because the mind feeds on dissatisfaction. So what do? You stop feeding it. You stop playing the game. You stop chasing every thought as if it were an absolute truth. You start observing, creating space between you and your mind. And in that space, you discover something extraordinary. Peace. Not the peace that depends on external circumstances, but the peace that is always there, waiting for you, patient, silent, eternal. And now comes what's truly powerful. When you find that peace, when you touch that inner silence, you begin to act completely differently. You no longer act from fear, from need, from lack. You act from fullness, from clarity, from love. And those actions have a power that fear-based actions will never have. They are precise, effective, transformative. You're not fighting against life, you're dancing with it. You're not forcing outcomes, you're allowing them to unfold. And paradoxically, when you stop clinging to outcomes, outcomes begin to arrive. Look at any master in any field. Great artists, great athletes, great thinkers, they all share something in common. They know how to access that state of flow, that state where the doer and the doing become one, where there is no effort because there is no separation. And that state is not found by forcing it. It's found by surrendering to it. It's found by letting go of control, trusting something bigger than your little rational mind. Here's the question you need to ask yourself. How much longer are you going to keep running? How much longer will you postpone meeting yourself? How much longer will you allow fear to dictate every move, every decision, every moment of your life? Because you can keep going like this, of course. You can keep filling your schedule, chasing goals, accumulating accomplishments. But in the end, when you're on your deathbed, none of those things will matter. The only thing that will matter is whether you truly lived, whether you were truly present, whether you truly knew yourself. Life is too short to waste it in unconsciousness. Every moment you spend lost in thoughts is a moment you'll never get back. Every moment you spend resisting what is a moment of unnecessary suffering. And the tragedy is that most people spend their whole lives in that state, dying without ever having truly lived, existing without ever having truly been. It doesn't have to be that way. You can wake up right now, not tomorrow, not when circumstances are perfect, not when you've solved all your problems. Now, in this very instant. And the first step is simple. Stop, just stop. Breathe, feel your body. Listen to the sounds around you. Observe your thoughts without engaging with them. Just for a moment, stop being the protagonist of your mental movie and become the observer. In that moment of pure observation, without judgment, without resistance, without needing anything to be different from what it is, you touch the eternal. You touch who you really are beneath all layers of conditioning, fear, and need. And once you touch it, even for a second, you can never fully go back to living asleep. Something has changed. You've seen beyond the veil. You've tasted real freedom. And that freedom will call to you again and again until you finally surrender to it completely. This is the path no one wants to teach you because they can't sell it to you, can't package it, can't turn it into a product. It's too simple, too direct, too free. It only requires that you stop running and stay still. It only requires that you stop searching and start seeing. It only requires that you stop doing and start being. So do it. Not after finishing this video, not tomorrow when you have time, right now. Close your eyes if you want, or leave them open. It doesn't matter. Just be here, completely here, going nowhere, becoming no one, needing nothing. And watch how everything falls into place on its own when you finally stop trying to force it. Resistance is your real enemy, not circumstances, not people, not external obstacles. It's that inner voice that says, this shouldn't be happening. This should be different. I should be different. Every time you resist what is, you create friction. And that friction is pure suffering. Spinoza expressed it with devastating clarity. Suffering ceases to be suffering the moment we form a clear and precise picture of it. But you don't form clear pictures. You drown in confusion because you refuse to look directly. Here's what happens when you surrender to reality as it is. Suffering doesn't necessarily disappear, but it changes its nature. It stops being that constant mental torture and becomes something cleaner, more direct. Physical pain is still pain. Loss is still loss. But there's no longer that extra layer of torment that comes from denying it. You're no longer suffering because of the suffering, and that's where real agony resides. Think of a small child. When they fall and scrape their knee, they cry, They feel the pain, and then they go back to playing. They don't spend 3 days later thinking, "I can't believe I fell, I'm so clumsy, this shouldn't have happened, life is unfair." They simply feel, process, and continue. But you, with all your supposed maturity, stay stuck in endless mental loops about things that already happened, or may never happen. You've lost that natural ability to be present that you had as a child, and you've replaced it with layers and layers of neurotic thinking. Society has taught you to live in your head. It rewards you for thinking, analyzing, planning. And all that has its place, of course. But it has become a pathology. You no longer use thought as a tool, thought uses you. It has completely hijacked you. And the most terrifying part is that you don't even notice. You think those thoughts are you. You think that constant inner voice is your true identity. But that voice is just noise, interference, mental static. Here's the experiment that will prove this to you. Try not to think for 30 seconds. Go on, do it now. 30 measly seconds without a single thought. Can you do it? Most people can't reach even 10. And if you can't control something as basic as your own mind for 30 seconds, do you really think you have control over your life? You don't. You are being lived by your thoughts, not living consciously. And here comes what's truly disturbing. Most of those thoughts aren't even yours. They're programming. They're voices from your parents, your teachers, society, the media, all replaying their scripts in your head while you believe they're your own ideas. Jung called it the collective unconscious, that mass of shared beliefs shaping your reality without your awareness. But even more basic than that, they're mental habits you've repeated so much, they now run automatically. So how do you break the pattern? First, by recognizing it exists. You can't change what you don't acknowledge. Second, by creating space. And that space is created with something ridiculously simple: attention. When you pay real attention to your thoughts, when you observe them without identifying with them, you automatically create distance. You're no longer the thought. You're the one observing the thought. And that distinction changes everything. Rumi said it beautifully. You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a drop. But you've spent your whole life believing you're the drop. Tiny, vulnerable, separate. And from that belief, everything is a threat, everything is scarcity, everything requires struggle. But when you start to see that you are the ocean, that the sense of separation is illusory, everything softens. The waves still come, the storms still arrive, but you remain, vast, deep, unshakable. The problem is that accessing that perspective requires letting go of your story. Your mind loves stories. It loves drama, conflict, the narrative of me against the world. And you've built your entire identity around those stories. I'm someone who was betrayed. I'm someone who never had luck. I'm someone who always had to fight. And as long as you cling to those stories, you will keep recreating them over and over. Because the mind seeks validation, seeks evidence that it's right. If you identify as a victim, you will find 1,000 ways to be victimized. If you identify as the lone fighter, you'll make sure help never arrives. Here's the radical freedom no one offers you. You can drop all those stories right now. You don't need years of therapy. You don't need a spiritual retreat in the Himalayas. You don't need anything external. You just need to recognize that those stories are stories, not facts. They're interpretations, not absolute truths. And the moment you see them for what they are, they lose their power over you. Nietzsche spoke of the eternal return, the idea of living the same life over and over for eternity. And he asked, if you had to live your life exactly the same for all eternity, would you accept it with joy? That's the ultimate test. Because if there's something in your life you cannot accept, you are in resistance. And that resistance is a slow form of death. Radical acceptance doesn't mean resignation, doesn't mean you can't change things. It means you first accept completely what is before moving to change it. And that movement from acceptance is infinitely more powerful than movement from resistance. Look at your breath right now. Don't change it, just observe it. It goes in, it goes out, it goes in, it goes out. It's been doing this your entire life without you needing to think about it. Your heart beats, your blood circulates, your cells regenerate, all without your conscious intervention. Life is living you, and it has been doing so since before you were born. So why do you believe you need to consciously control everything? Why do you believe that without your constant interference, everything will fall apart? That need for control is fear in disguise. Fear of the unknown, fear of death, fear of loss. And it's understandable. The ego is built on fear because its job is to keep you alive. But the ego is a terrible master. As a servant, it's useful, but you've let it take full control. And now you live in perpetual anxiety because the ego is never satisfied, never feels safe, always needs more. Enlightenment, awakening, presence, call it what you want, is not adding something. It's removing layers of conditioning, fear, false identification until only what is real remains. And what is real is so simple that the mind constantly overlooks it, searching for something more complex, more special, more elaborate. What is real is this: you existing, now, conscious, alive, without a past to carry, without a future to fear, just this. And when you live from here, decisions become clear. Not because you have all the answers, but because you don't need all the answers. You act from intuition, from the clarity of the moment, from what the situation requires, not from what your neurotic mind thinks you need to feel safe. You trust the process because you've seen that the process has always taken care of you. You've survived 100% of your worst days. You're here. That should tell you something. So let go of the rope. Stop pulling. Stop resisting. Stop fighting what is. And watch how, when you stop making so much noise, you can finally hear what life has been trying to tell you all along. Watch how the answers you desperately searched for were there the whole time, waiting in the silence you feared so much. Watch how everything fits when you finally stop trying to force the pieces. This is your invitation. Not to do more, but to be more. Not to achieve more, but to release more. Not to become someone special, but to recognize the extraordinary being you already are beneath all the masks. The path is here. It has always been here, waiting for you. You only need the courage to stop and see it. And if something in this resonated with you, if something moved inside you while listening, don't let it pass. Subscribe to this channel, activate the bell, because what we share here is not content to fill your time. It's content to reclaim your life. Every video is an invitation to awaken, and you already took the first step by getting this far. Now I want to ask you something else. Go to the comments and write exactly this: I already stopped running. When I see it, I'll know you were here, that this truly touched you, and I'll reply to you personally. I want to know who's on the other side, who had the courage to stay until the end. That comment is your mark, your commitment to yourself. And one more thing. Share this video. Not for me, but because you know exactly who needs to hear this. That person drowning in noise, running non-stop, who forgot how to be at peace. This video might be exactly what changes their life. And you can be the one who puts it in front of them. See you in the next video, if you decide to show up.